Chapter 13. Ruby raced inside the schoolhouse. She felt her way, tripping up the 3 back steps to the stage in sudden darkness. In a panic, she slapped the heavy backstage curtain, trying to find an opening to the stage. The piano played splink, splink, splunk, splank, splink, splunk, over and over down the scale, up the scale. Ruby crawled under the velvet curtain and stood up. There was Beamy on the piano keys. Mrs. Varnado had plastered herself against the wall next to the piano and had squeezed her eyes shut. The scenery crew rushed out on stage. Tot's hands flew to her chest. Dove clutched a roll of construction paper and shouted to Melba, "It's okay, it's only a chicken. A chicken!" But Melba wasn't okay. She was hysterical. Beamy cocked her head, then jumped off the piano and raced for Melba, squawking with excitement as if she found her long-lost screaming mother. Melba's eyes popped as big as tea cakes. She ran. Miss Mattie was on her feet. "Get that chicken out of here!" Melba stumbled past Ruby, smacked into the velvet curtain, and slid to the floor. Ruby lunged for Beamy, but Beamy scrappled against Melba's back. Melba vaulted to her feet, upsetting a ladder. It toppled with a crash. Beamy screamed and made a flying leap off the stage. Miss Mattie tried to swat her with her clipboard, but Beamy veered and raced for the open back door of the schoolhouse and ran out. Miss Mattie stomped up the front stage stairs. Ruby stood with the others, looking at Melba Jane. Melba stood very still. She was silent, and she was blue. A can of balloon paint had been on the top step of the ladder, and now, from her head to her toes, Melba was covered in it. Paint slid over her head like a peacock blue silk scarf. It dripped onto her shoulders, her nose, her crepe paper dress, and her shiny red shoes. No one spoke. The auditorium that had echoed with screeching and crashing just moments before was now quiet as a grave. "How could you bring that chicken in here?" Miss Mattie's voice broke the silence, and suddenly everyone was talking at once, surrounding Melba Jane, grabbing for a roll of paper towels to mop her up. Ruby tore her eyes away from Melba and turned with her mouth open to Miss Mattie. Nothing came out. She was peppered with dust from crawling under the backstage curtain, and her red hair slopped out of its ponytail and stuck in a dozen different directions. Melba stood like a statue. Tot grabbed a drop cloth from the floor and wrapped it around Melba Jane. "She's in shock." She picked up her large arms, paint oozing everywhere. "Where's the bathroom? We need water." Miss Mattie whirled away from Ruby. "The hose is out back. She needs to be hosed off now if that paint's going to come off." Tot shook her head. "She needs warmth." She looked at Melba. "Bless your heart. We'll fix you right up, sweetheart. Bless your heart." Melba's eyes were closed. She looked dead. Mrs. Varnado had covered her wits. "This way." She led the way to the girls' bathroom, and Ruby followed the crowd, trying to explain. "It was an accident. Honest, I didn't mean for Beamy to get in here. I was just keeping her away from Ivy. Ivy's about to have chicks, and..." Her voice trailed off as a low wail began inside the girls' bathroom. Ruby felt tears sting the corner of her eyes. She pushed her way outside, left the wagon under the chinaberry tree, and ran for the Pink Palace. Surely she would find Beamy there. She wished Miss Ula would be there too. She would listen to Ruby spill the whole story. Then she'd have all the right things to say to make her feel better. But she wasn't there. She'd have to find a way to feel better all by herself. "Dear Miss Ula, I found Beamy. She was safe in the Butterfields chicken yard. She and Herman were squawking up a storm. Her feet were bright blue. Melba's mama was in the middle of the permanent wave for Mrs. Popham, but quit to put Melba in the shower. Mama says she is still kind of blue, but she's all right, except her hair. Melba is telling everyone I did it on purpose. I'm sleeping with the chickens tonight on our quilt. Dove was going to come, but didn't. I don't care. I'm going to watch Ivy's chicks come into the world. They're still peeping, and any minute they will crack out of their shells. Love, your lonesome again granddaughter, Ruby L. P.S.S. There is a full moon tonight. I have a lantern with batteries, a big flashlight, a canteen of water, 2 moon pies, lucky number, and the dictionary, so I can read calming words to Ivy while the chicks hash. I wish you were here.